First off, the whole Logan Paul thing, what's going on there with him saying he hasn't been paid yet? Like, what's...
Oh, that's, we haven't really got in the middle of it. Our deal with Mayweather Promotions, and then Mayweather Promotions disperses the money. Obviously, we deal with one of the promoters. We don't have separate deals with each of them. So I can only go by what Floyd says. Yes, there's some delay in pay-per-view. I mean, there's just a pretty significant chunk of money that, is just going out now. So, whether it's that, I'd be surprised if that wasn't the. I think it's just a misunderstanding about how long it takes the money to get out sometimes.
So I guess for fans, like, how does that work in terms of, like, I always felt that you sign a contract, you get a payment first, and then you wait for the pay-per-view money to come. But
right.
Does that come, like, who's that come from?
So that would come, so the network collects it, and then most of the time we pay it out to a promoter, and the promoter splits it to the two fighters. Once in a while, we'll have a deal with each fighter or each fighter's promoter directly. But most of the time, the money comes in, we deduct whatever expenses and fees, and then pay it out to the promoter, and then they split it up.
Okay, yeah, because it just caught me off guard. I'm like, Showtime, it's not in your MO.
Right.
Like, you guys would always pay people.
Right.
Or you guys would be out of business. Like,
right. Yeah, that's something we don't play around with. Like, when money comes in, especially on the pay-per-view side, it gets paid out. So when we get it, there's no point in us hanging on to it. I think we've been really good for Jake's brand and gave him some credibility and production value. He's brought in another group of new fans, which probably weren't paying a lot of attention to the sport before. So I think it's a win-win, and we definitely like to stay in business with it. A lot of other polls and some of our own internal data, that there is a greater interest in certain demographics, particularly probably 18 to 29, call it. Those were demographics which were interested in sports. We've just seen a big spike. And so whether it's Jake or Logan or the two of them, or generally, I think it's more the entire influencer interest in it. All the way from KSI and Austin McBroom and others. I think they've exposed their fan base to the sport, and they've made it okay for their fan base to be interested in the sport. And we've definitely seen that. I mean, it is undeniable at this point. So people who say, like, that Jake isn't contributing anything to the sport, I mean, that's absolutely false. I mean, he's clearly supporting other fighters like Amanda Serrano, and now we have documented proof that, very likely he's a major driver toward, some of the increased interest in the sport.
Or could it be the social media aspect?
Yeah, it's a little bit of ease. Yeah. You don't have to be a fan of Jake or Logan in particular, but again, it's on social media. There's a lot of influencers who are talking about it, participating in it, doing these events, and that can only help the awareness and popularity of the sport.
Yeah, my question with that has always been, like, are they tuning in for him, or are they tuning in because they like boxing?
Yeah, and that was our question at the start of it, and I think we answered it, is, for us, they are sticking around. It's not just they're coming to watch Jake and they're not watching anything else. I mean, on top of it, like, in Tampa and in Cleveland, you showed up at the start of the pay-per-view, 6 p.m., and the arena's 3/4 full. So they're not just saying, hey, we want to see Jake. They're coming for a full night of boxing.
Probably misunderstanding, probably.
I think so. I think so. It sounds like there's miscommunication about setting expectations of when the money would come in. We're invested in Tank and also in Mayweather Promotions. We're not going to take sides, either one of them. Hopefully they can work it out, because it's been a positive relationship thus far. It's been successful up to this point.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, like, if he does move away for whatever reasons, you guys just signed a deal with Jerron Ennis, so it's not outside of the realm that you guys obviously would want to keep him. It would be a different arrangement.
Yeah, and the reality is we're sort of agnostic, or we are agnostic on promoters. Like, we don't need him to be with this promoter or that promoter. Obviously most of our fighters are PBC fighters, but whether it's Jerron Ennis or Brandon Lee or our multi-fight deal with Joshua or Clarissa Shields, we have the flexibility to go wherever. So, our goal is to be in business with Tank, regardless of where, where's him.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.